So, Meta's had an embarrassing past couple of days. Hell, they've had an embarrassing year. Their stock price has tanked since their rebranding to Meta and since Mark Zuckerberg tripled down on the Metaverse. And if we look at the stock price these past couple of days, you'll see that ever since Mark Zuckerberg posted that Metaverse selfie and embarrassed himself in front of the world and just was roasted by the internet, the stock price did sink a little bit. Now, Mark Zuckerberg did respond to the roasting he's been receiving because of the Metaverse selfie he posted, which looks dreadful. I'll get to that in a bit. But for those who don't know, Meta is gambling big with Horizon Worlds, their Metaverse, which is marketed to look something like this. Already looks unappealing, but the reality of the current state of the game is that it looks more like this. Lifeless, devoid of soul and creative passion. It's not just the gaming community that's been rallying against all of this. Investors have been skeptical. CEOs from other companies are not buying into it. Beyond that, you've got employees who are just losing confidence in Mark Zuckerberg's leadership and are concerned about his obsession with the Metaverse, and staffers described confusion, disarray, and declining confidence. Financially, Meta has been plateauing, with them having posted their first ever quarterly revenue decline. And this is just scratching the surface of Meta's less than stellar year, which is not helped by Mark Zuckerberg posting this on August 15th, 2022. We're launching Horizon Worlds in France and Spain today. To celebrate Horizon Worlds' launch in France and Spain, he posted this hideous, off-putting Metaverse selfie with his own avatar, and in the background are miniature basic renders of landmarks featured in the aforementioned countries. Just one of the most baffling marketing moves to release an image like this, thinking that somehow this is all endearing and that people are going to react positively to this. Just a level of tone deafness that makes me think Mark Zuckerberg is an alien disguised as a human who is trying to create a product for humans, but because he's an alien has no earthly clue what humans actually like. And the headlines surrounding this story have been glorious. Here is PC Gamer with Mark Zuckerberg spent $10 billion on the Metaverse and all he got was this stupid selfie. That's not a joke, by the way. Meta has spent $10 billion on Horizon Worlds only for it to look like frickin' this or this. Does this look like a $10 billion video game or interactive medium endeavor to you? I mean, talk about some of the most inefficiently used $10 billion ever, with the results being what PC Gamer accurately describes as a worse version of Second Life. Another vicious headline is from news outlet Fortune, which reads, Mark Zuckerberg's $10 billion selfie is an international laughingstock. Vicious perhaps, but also factually true. That selfie has been the butt of many jokes these past few days. Social media viciously mocked Mark Zuckerberg. Ordinary Things from Twitter said Mark Zuckerberg launches Horizon Worlds in France and Spain with an eye-gougingly ugly VR selfie. Meta's Metaverse ploy is surely dying in the dark. This tweet went viral. Beyond that, you've got this tweet highlighting how VR Chat, a game with a far lower budget than $10 billion, has a rendition of the Eiffel Tower that's more true to life in virtual reality. Others dunking on the awful graphics, visuals, and lack of imagination surrounding Horizon Worlds with, in Fortnite, you can be Goku with a shotgun, which is true as of a recent update. And here we have one more from Josh Johnson, who tweeted a comparison between The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Mark Zuckerberg's Metaverse selfie. And fidelity-wise, it's not too far off. Hell, if anything, I'd say this image on the left here of Link looks better and has more life to it. And this isn't the first time that Mark Zuckerberg has expressed an alien level of tone deafness. Back in October of 2021, he released this video where he thought showing himself interacting with this terrifying avatar would somehow win over the hearts and minds of gamers and the general public, that this would sell us on the greatness of the metaverse. But this is one of the most off-putting things ever. Though credit where credit is due, the soullessness of this avatar is very much accurate to who Mark Zuckerberg is and what he looks like. But bottom line is that Mark Zuckerberg's Metaverse selfie made headlines around the world, and not just in gaming news outlets, but also in just general mass media news outlets. And the mockery got so vicious that Mark Zuckerberg felt the need to respond with this Instagram post that reads, "Major updates to Horizon and Avatar graphics coming soon. I'll share more at Connect. Also, I know the photo I posted earlier this week was pretty basic. That's one way to describe it. Basic aside, I mean, forget the number of polygons on display. Beyond a laughably lack of graphics fidelity, the issue here is just how unnerving and disturbing this all looks, and the fact that you remotely thought this screenshot was worth presenting as marketing to celebrate the launch of your metaverse in other countries, that you thought this in any way, shape, or form would be received in an endearing manner. He then decides to provide an excuse for why such a hideous screenshot was posted. It was taken very quickly to celebrate a launch. Even if he happens to be telling the truth with, oh, we just came up with this really quickly, all that highlights is that you don't care enough to put out good screenshots of your own product, to actually take the time to show, the best you have to offer. On the other hand, if he's making up this excuse to save face, which to me seems like a likely prospect, then that's a pathetic excuse if you expect us to believe that absolutely no thought was put into the release of that image and that you will just rush aspects of marketing for a multi-billion-dollar project that Mark Zuckerberg and Meta as a company is putting so many of their eggs into. I personally don't believe this was just some kind of rush job. I believe Mark Zuckerberg thought, okay, what if we try to appeal to the masses by posting a selfie, because selfies are popular, right? And oh yeah, let's do it in front of these landmarks and that'll be super endearing. I feel like they had a conversation about this and thought this was a good idea, and now they're backtracking by pretending like, oh, we didn't put that much thought into this. We just captured the screenshot in a couple of minutes and just threw it out there. We weren't making a big deal about it. But no matter which scenario is true, it doesn't change the fact that both are terrible optics. He continues, the graphics in Horizon are capable of much more, even on headsets, and Horizon is improving very quickly. Well, you've done a piss poor job of highlighting that. Here we have two screenshots, one showing a more modern render of Mark Zuckerberg's avatar, and then a render of some generic environment. So let's take a closer look at these. Here's the new Mark Zuckerberg Horizon World character model. Apparently, this is sort of the goal in terms of graphics fidelity. And sure, in terms of polygons and lighting and shadows and effects and all these things, yeah, it definitely looks like a better model than this abomination right here. If we flip back and forth, you can kind of see the difference in graphics fidelity or whatever. But graphics fidelity is not what makes for appealing visuals. I've seen plenty of really bland and soulless looking Unreal Engine 5 asset flips. There has to be a certain style and creative vision, and all that has to come together. But to me, this still looks pretty hollow and soulless and generic even. And while this new render is definitely much less off-putting than what was presented in this selfie, I will say that this image captures Mark Zuckerberg's soulless alien android vibe better. Yes, the new render does have updated graphics, but along the way, we lost the authentic representation of Mark Zuckerberg. Jokes aside, okay, yeah, Mark, you have shown us the level of graphics fidelity you hope to reach down the line with Horizon Worlds, but the question still remains, what the hell is Horizon Worlds for? What's so special about Metaverse beyond being a glorified VR chat that's trying to integrate NFT and crypto to turn everything into investment opportunities? What does your Horizon Worlds Metaverse offer that other games and VR experiences don't already do and do better and more feature complete? Because so far the main purpose of Horizon Worlds and metaverses in general seems to be to establish a virtual world economy where the masses will pool their money for corporations to leech off of. All of this so far just seems like a monetarily driven endeavor rather than one that genuinely aims to give us new benefits and conveniences. None of this screams made with consumers and the betterment of society in mind. This all just screams dystopian corporate future. And then below the character model, you've got this render of an environment that just looks like an Unreal Engine 4 asset flip. Yes, the graphics fidelity of this environment does look better than the current state of Horizon Worlds, but the current state of Horizon Worlds isn't a tall bar to meet or rise above. This just looks like your typical generic in-engine environment demo, just something that one guy just put together in like 5 minutes using assets that have already been pre-made on the Unreal Store or something. There's nothing here that screams style or vision or creativity or imagination. Already we're seeing plenty of headlines from major outlets. Mark Zuckerberg responds to graphics backlash, promises Metaverse won't be depressing to look at, says Kotaku. I mean, even with the graphics update again, it looks pretty freaking depressing. Others keep the headline simple. Mark Zuckerberg has responded to the Metaverse memes. Major outlets like CNN are even following the story. Mark Zuckerberg responds to Metaverse memes with a redesign. Here we have Business Insider. Mark Zuckerberg unveils new boyish Metaverse avatar after getting mocked for creepy, dead-eyed version. I mean, I would argue that this is just the higher fidelity version of creepy, dead-eyed. News outlet TechCrunch also got sassy with this headline. Mark Zuckerberg says the metaverse won't be as cringy as his cursed selfie. News outlet Engadget published this headline. Mark Zuckerberg promises major updates to Horizon avatars after his is widely mocked. On social media, people are already making fun of this. Ryan Mack, wow, Mark Zuckerberg basically got cyberbullied so much over his company's metaverse graphics that he announced an update. And then satirical news outlet The Onion straight up went savage with Mark Zuckerberg worried his metaverse avatar doesn't fully compare to how inhuman he looks. And both of these tweets went viral. Ryan Mack here sitting at almost 24,000 likes, and The Onion here sitting at a little over 14,000 likes. Now, one last headline I want to present is from CNBC in the form of a YouTube video that they uploaded on August 19th, 2022. And the headline is pretty harsh here. Zuckerberg Metaverse slammed for ugly graphics. And I do love the way they present this whole story. Here's what that looks like.
Zuckerberg's Meta launching a virtual reality game, Horizon Worlds, in France and Spain this week. And with that launch, this photo of Metaverse Zuckerberg himself in front of a virtual reality Eiffel Tower and what's supposed to be La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Now he's getting dragged on the internet for how ugly the graphics of this game are. Fortune calling it an international laughingstock, Slate labeling the look so stupid, and Forbes asking, does Mark Zuckerberg not understand how bad his metaverse is? Apparently he does know how bad it is because he changed it or made an announcement he's planning to change it.
After 3 or 4 days of people really making fun of this graphics, I mean, I played computer games back in 2002 when I was just a teenager that looked better than this. So he basically said, look, you know, this is basic, we're working on it.
Zelda Ocarina of Time looks better than that.
And he put a picture kind of teasing what it might look like in the future.
This thing looked like Wii Sports from 2008.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it had a very kind of retro feel. Was that intentional?
Retro. That's a word for it.
Screw up is a very strong way to say it, but it's definitely not.
But they spent billions. I mean, they pivoted their entire company to the metaverse,
not
right?
just billions, Eamon. $10
Screwed up is
billion.
the exact
that
terminology.
Virtual selfie we saw of Mark Zuckerberg, that's a $10 billion selfie. That's what $10 billion buys you. That's where the criticism's coming
But this isn't an incompetence in terms of the technology and the design. This is a strategic choice somebody made that just turns out to be a bad choice, right?
Right.
It's
and
both.
They're starting off very slow. They keep in mind they're starting from scratch on all of this, so it is going to look a little rough around the edges at first. So to give them credit, yes, by their own admission, this is a beta product. It's only in a few countries. This selfie came out because it's launching in Spain.
Betas from a decade ago looked better than this beta.
Slowly and deliberately. Mark Zuckerberg himself said
with a far lower budget.
15 years before this vision actually pans out. So maybe one day we'll be laughing at this.
Answer me this: what is the metaverse? What are they trying to build here?
That brief hesitation there of like, how do I respond is exactly what everyone's response is to what is the metaverse? What is its purpose? How is this meant to benefit us?
Everyone has a different definition. The metaverse is kind of lost on meaning.
What's Meta trying to build?
What Facebook is trying to do is build a virtual set of worlds that you can go in and explore and build yourself. So you can go and create a game for people.
Is this a lifestyle? Is this a game?
It's so ugly.
Is this social media? What is this?
It's also a way for people to work in the metaverse. So I'm
not working in the metaverse.
Yeah, you're not working. I reported on this story. People who work in this game called Roblox. And they actually make a living selling digital items. That's what Mark Zuckerberg wants Facebook or /Meta to turn into, this whole economy, this virtual 3D
economy.
World economy.
That's the key word.
And of course, Facebook collects taxes on that.
And they want to be the New York Stock Exchange of this new economy.
Yes.
They're the place where all
Very
the
well put.
Get a slice of every transaction.
You're telling me there's some money to be made here. How much do you think?
Oh,
how big is this going to be?
So if you ask Mark Zuckerberg, hundreds of billions, maybe $1 trillion.
So enough to buy some good graphics.
Enough to buy some good graphics and some better hardware for sure.
Okay. Steve, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
I did enjoy this segment. They both present information in a way that's easy to understand, but also dunk on things that deserve to be dunked on. And you can see in their faces, there's just a whole lot of they're almost like laughing at this thing. They both seem as baffled, confused, and skeptical about the metaverse as the majority of the gaming community is, or much of the world is. But yeah, this is what Meta and Horizon Worlds is at its core right now, a laughing stock, and a piss-poor attempt to fool us into thinking that this is all somehow made for us, for our benefit, when it's so very clear that this is a corporate move to generate a new gold rush through a hype train that they hope that everyone will get on board so it can start pulling in their money for companies like Facebook or Meta to take a piece out of. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything you need to know about the latest surrounding Meta, Horizon Worlds, and Mark Zuckerberg's piss-poor attempts at marketing this endeavor that he's putting so many of his eggs into. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the new screenshots that Mark Zuckerberg shared of Horizon Worlds. Does it make you any more optimistic about the future of this project, or are you on my side of the fence where it makes absolutely no difference? It still just looks like a dreadful dystopian virtual environment. Share your thoughts below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.